So today we will be discussing how to solve quadratic inequality by means of sine graph. Yan. Sine graph. Sine graph. Sine. Sine graph. Ulitin ko lang. Yan. So how do we solve quadratic inequality using sine graph? The things you do when solving quadratic equation, you can also use it by in solving quadratic inequality. Now, there are things to remember sa sine graph. Oh, let's first tell the symbols of quadratic inequality. Ito yung greater than, lesser than, greater than or equal, lesser than or equal. Yan yung mga yon. So you need to remember these things. Pag sinabi mong greater than, positive, lesser than negative, ang greater than or equal positive, ang lesser than or equal negative. Ang greater than ulit, positive, at the same time, gamit ka ng open circle, ang lesser than open circle, close circle, at ito naman is also close circle. Kung sa greater than, parenthesis dapat ang gagamitin mo. Also with lesser than, sa greater than or equal bracket. Also with the lesser than or equal bracket. Yan. Those are the things to remember. You need to remember when solving quadratic inequality using sine graph. Now, how do we solve quadratic inequality? For example, you have x squared plus, sabihin mo ng 5. 5x minus 24 greater than 0. So, in solving quadratic inequality, pwede kang gumamit ng factoring, completing the square, and quadratic formula. So, in this case, gagamit ako ng factoring. So, what are the factors of x squared plus 5x minus 24? You have x to, because x times x is x squared. Ngayon, ano yung dalawang number or the two numbers, when you add, it will become 5, and when you multiply, it will become negative 24. Two numbers are 3 and 8, because 3 times 8 is 24. Pero since negative 24 siya, isa sa kanilang dalawa positive, isa sa kanilang dalawa negative. So, positive si 8, negative si 3. Now, get the value of x, or in our sine graph, ang tawag mo sa kanila, the two values of x are called the critical points. So, equate it to 0, x minus 3 is equal to 0, and x plus 8 is equal to 0. We have x minus 3 is equal to 0 and x plus 8 is equal to 0. So, get the values of x. Yun ang tinatawag nating critical points. So, you have x transposing negative 3, magiging 3. And si 8 naman, from positive 8, transpose sa kabila, magiging negative 8. Now, next, graph. We need to graph. Since x lang naman ang pinapakita dyan, or x lang yung critical points, yan lang. X-axis lang ang pag-graph natin. Hindi na natin kailangan si y kasi nga, in one variable tayo. So, paano yan? So, when you graph them, syempre, ito yung 0. I-estimate mo na lang. Malapit sa 0 yung 3, positive 3. And medyo banda dito yung negative 8. So, this negative 8, 0, tapos 3. Next one. Put 0 above the critical points. Lagyan mo ng 0. 0, 0 dyan. 0 dito. Next one is decide on whether what circle are you going to use. I-explain ko lang kung anong ibig sabihin ng mga circle na to. Kapag sinabi mong open circle or etong circle na to, sa sign graph kasi may tinatawag tayong solution set that will determine the solutions that will make your inequality true. So pag sinabi mong open circle, pag naglagay ako ng open circle kay 8, excluded siya. So ang ibig sabihin ng open circle, excluded or hindi kabali sa solution. Ang closed circle naman, included. Ibig sabihin, kasali yung number na yun sa solution. I will explain it later pag na-solve na natin to. So, since greater than yung ginamit nating inequality symbol, tignan mo lang si greater than, anong circle niya, open circle. So, ibig sabihin, open circle yan, open circle to. Next one, hatiin mo sila sa tatlong parts. Wherein, wait lang, iusog ko lang to. Wherein, mahati sila sa tatlong parts. Itong part na to, and this one. So, meron kang nasa kaliwa, meron kang nasa gitna, meron kang nasa kanan. Now, what are you going to do? Since sign graph ang pangalan ng method na ginagamit natin, since sign graph ang tawag sa method na gagamitin natin, it's all about the signs, positive, negative. Paano ka maglalagay ng signs na positive, negative? Dito, yung mga zero na nilagay niya sa tuktok ng mga critical points, that will determine kung saan mo ilalagay yung positive tsaka negative. Since ito yung zero, ibig sabihin lahat ng nasa kanan, positive. Lahat ng nasa kaliwa, negative. Same as true with dito, yung zero dito. Since ito yung zero, kanan mo positive, kaliwa mo negative. Yan. Meron kang two layers ng signs. Ngayon, the next step is to create another layer for another set of signs. Paano yon? Imumultiply mo lang yung mga signs. Dito sa kaliwa natin, negative times negative, it will result positive. Positive times negative, negative. And positive times positive, positive. So, ito yung third layer na sinasabi ko. Paano ko ulit nakuha yung third layer na yan? Again, minultiply ko yung mga signs. Paano ko nakuha tong mga signs na to? Maglalagay ka ng 0 sa tuktok ng critical points and lahat ng kanan positive, lahat ng kaliwa negative. Same as true with this one. Ito yung critical point. Ito yung 0 sa taas niya. Lahat ng kanan positive, lahat ng kaliwa negative. Next, the shaded part or it will determine your solutions. So sa pag-shade ng quadratic inequality, tignan mo ulit dito. Greater than ang ginamit. Pag greater than, ibig sabihin positive. So tignan mo yung third layer ng signs. Lahat ng positive dyan, you're going to shade those yun ang part na shadean mo. 'Di ba hinati mo siya ng tatlo, which is itong kaliwa, itong nasa gitna, itong nasa kanan. Sa third layer, tignan mo kung ano yung positive and yun yung part na shaded. Since ito yung positive, shadean ko tong part na to. Ito yung positive, ito yung shaded. Ngayon, ano ang ibig sabihin ng shaded part na yan? Yan yung mga solutions that will make your inequality true. Ang ibig sabihin nun, kapag nag-substitute ka ng any value na na-shadean dito, it will make your inequality true. For example, you have dito, sa mga na-shadean dito sa part dito, magbigay ka ng isang number. Let's say for example, 4. Kasi syempre, ang katabi ng 3, si 4. So, x is equal to 4. Since na-shadean si 4, ibig sabihin, part siya ng solution set. Or it will make your inequality true. by substituting this value of x. For example, you have 4 square 5 plus 5 times 4 minus 24 must be greater than 0. So, meron kang 16 plus 20, 16 plus 20 minus 24 greater than 0. Oh, 4 square 16, 5 times 4, 20. Tapos negative 24 to. 16 plus 20 minus 24 is 16 plus 20 minus 24 is 12. Greater than 0. Is it true that 12 is greater than 0? That's true. Kasi ang 12 mas mataas siya sa 0. Now, how about yung mga hindi na shadean? Ano yung ibig sabihin nun? It only means na hindi kasali yung mga hindi na shadean sa solution natin. It will make your inequality false. X is equal to 0. Substitute. 0 square plus 5 times 0 minus 24 greater than 0. So, syempre, 0 square is 0. Any number multiplied by 0 is equal to 0. 5 times 0 is equal to 0. Minus 24 pala to. 24 greater than 0. So, it leaves you negative 24 greater than 0 is negative 24 greater than 0. Mas malaki ba or mas mataas ba in terms of value yung negative 24 kaysa 0 sa 0? That's false because kahit na 0 yan, mas mataas pa rin ang 0 kaysa sa kahit anong negative numbers. Yan. So, it makes your inequality false, yung mga part na hindi na shadean. And yung mga na shadean, yun yung mga part ng solution. And ulitin ko, ang ibig sabihin ng open circle is excluded. Ang ibig sabihin ng circle is excluded. Excluded ang critical points. Like, ito example na to, negative 8, open circle siya. Ibig sabihin, hindi kasali yung 8. Magiging false yung inequality mo. Same as true with 3. Next example. What if you have x squared plus 7x plus 10 is lesser than or equal to 0? So again, first step is to find the critical points. So in this equation or in this inequality, pwede kang gumamit ng factoring ulit. Wherein yung inequality symbol, palitan mo muna ng equals 0 to find the critical points. Now, find the factor of x squared plus 7x plus 10. You have x times x sa first term para maging x squared. Now, find two numbers when you add 7 and when you multiply, it will become 10. What are the two numbers? It's 5 and 2. Ano ang sign nilang dalawa? Since positive yung last term mo, it's either dalawang negative or dalawang positive para maging positive 10 siya. Pero dito, looking at your middle term, it's positive 7. Since lahat yan positive, automatic yung factors niya positive. Now, get the critical points by equating them to 0. So, you have x plus 5 is equal to 0. X now plus 2 is equal to 0. So, you have x is equal to negative 5 and x is equal to negative 2. Negative 2. Ayan. Now, after getting the critical points, you have the graph. You have to graph. In this case, since dalawa silang negative, kahit hindi mo na ilagay yung 0, or kung gusto mo maglagay ng 0 as palatandaan, okay lang. Ang mahalaga dito, yung critical points. The two critical points, dapat ganyan. For example, asan dyan yung mas malaki, asan dyan yung mas maliit. Since mas malaki ang negative 2 sa negative 5, the bigger number, lagi dapat siyang nasa right side. So, dito ang mas malaking number. sa left side lagi ang mas maliit. You have negative 5. Again, hindi mo kailangan maglagay lagi ng 0 sa gitna because not all the time critical points is positive tsaka negative. Merong mga cases na positive, positive. In this case, ang case niya dito, dalawang negative numbers. So kapag parehas yung sign, all you need to do is to find the bigger number, then put it in the right side, then the smaller number sa left side. So we have negative 5, negative 2. Next, you have, lagyan mo sila ng 0 sa tuktok nilang dalawa. Dapat may 0 dyan, 0 din dito. Hatiin mo into 3 parts. You have the left side, the middle part, and the right side. Then sa mga 0, lagyan mo ng positive lahat ng kanan. So lahat ng kanan, positive, tuloy-tuloy yan. Kaliwa ng 0, negative. Meron kang negative dyan, negative dito. Next, same as true with the other 0. Lahat ng right, positive, positive. Lahat ng left, negative. After finding the signs, for putting the signs, gumawa ka ng isa pang line ng or isa pang set ng mga signs or third wave ng mga signs by multiplying the first two signs. For ito, negative times negative, magiging positive to. Dito naman, you have negative times positive, magiging negative. Dito, positive times positive, positive. Again, ito yung titignan nyo para hanapin kung saang part yung shashadan nyo. Ngayon, anong part ba dapat yung shashadan natin? Or before we shade, decide on what circle are we going to use. Look at this one, yung sa part dito sa left side nyo, ito. Ano ba yung ginamit nating inequality symbol? In this example, we use lesser than or equal. In lesser than or equal, negative siya, and close circle dapat ang gagamitin mo. So in your graph, si negative 5, close circle, si negative 2, close circle. Yun yan. Negative 5, close circle, si negative 2, close circle. And ano ulit ang ibig sabihin ng close circle? It means included sila sa solution natin. Kasama si negative 5 tsaka si negative 2 sa solution natin. Now, where do we shade? Anong part ang shashadan natin? Is it the right, middle, or left? Dito sa lesser than or equal, since lesser than or equal ang ginamit natin, ito sa mga to, negative yung ang ibig sabihin ng lesser than or equal, negative. So dito sa third wave of signs mo, dito sa third wave of sign, you look at the negative part. Asan din yung negative part? Nasa gitna. So ibig sabihin, that will be the solution set. Or yun yung mga solutions na kailangan mong i-shade. Lahat ng numbers na nasa gitna, yung negative 5 hanggang kay negative 2, those are what you call solution sets. It will make your inequality true. Kapag substitute ka ng number in between negative 5 and negative 2, magiging true yung inequality mo. Let's say for example, since close circle si negative 2, sabihin na natin, i-substitute natin siya. Negative 2 is equal to negative 2. X is equal to negative 2. Now, since x is equal to negative 2 and part dapat siya ng solution kasi close circle yung ginamit natin, when I substitute, dapat magiging true. So, for example, you have negative 2 square plus 7 times 2 plus 10. Lesser than or equal to 0. So, meron kang 4, positive 4, plus 14, plus 10. You have 4 plus 14 plus 10, you have 28. Lesser than or equal to 0. Is 28 lesser than or equal to 0? True. Kasi mas mababa ang 0 kaysa kay 28. Kuha? So, lahat ng na-shaded na part dito sa gitna is considered the solution and will make your inequality true. While numbers na hindi na-shaded katulad ni negative 1, 0, 1, those are numbers na... So, another example, we have... x squared minus 5x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 0. Ngayon, how are we going to solve this inequality? Again, get the critical points using factoring. Sabi mo na, kung di mo kaya ng factoring, mag-quadratic formula ka. So, we have the factors of this inequality. Gawin mong equals yan kasi critical points pa lang yung hanapin natin. You have x times x, negative 5 tsaka 4. What are the two numbers when you add negative 5 and when you multiply positive 4? O, ang pinakaklo mo dito ay last term. Ano yung mga numbers na kapag multiply mo? 4. That's 2 times 2 tsaka 4 times 1 lang. So, in this case, gamitin natin yung 4 times 1. Kasi si middle term, negative 5. Since positive to, dalawa lang ang choice mo. Positive, positive to, or negative, negative. In this case, pag pinag-add mo dapat, magiging negative 5. So, ibig sabihin, dalawa silang negative. You have negative 4 plus negative 1 is negative 5. Now, equate them to 0. X minus 4 is equal to 0. And x minus 1 is equal to 0. Transpose. The critical points now are positive 4. And another one is x is equal to positive 1. That's the two critical points. Next step is to graph. Mag-graph ka. Again, sa pag-graph, when you're given two critical points, both positive, always remember na yung mas malaki nasa kanan, yung mas maliit nasa kaliwa. So, in this example, you have positive 4 and 1. Since mas malaki si positive 4 kay 1, nandun siya sa kanan. And si positive 1, sa kaliwa siya. Now, decide na kung anong circle ang gagamitin mo. Kung closed ba or open circle. In this case, greater than or equal, you have greater than or equal. Dito sa part na to, tingin na lagi dito. You have greater than or equal, closed circle. So we have to use closed circle. That means both 1 and 4 are included. Again, ang closed circle, ang ibig sabihin niya included. Included si 1 tsaka si 4 sa solution set natin. Or it will make your inequality true. Pag sinubstitute mo si 1, pag sinubstitute mo si 4, it will make your inequality true. Next one is yung dalawang 0. 0 dyan, 0 dito. Then hatiin mo siya into 3 parts. You have the left, the middle, and the right. Now, pagkalagay mo ng 0, yung signs. So, lahat ng kanan, positive. Lahat ng nasa kaliwa, negative. Same as true with the other 0. Lahat ng kanan, positive. Kaliwa is negative. Then, after getting the two sets of signs, gawa ka ng third set. Paano ka makagawa ng third set? Ilalagay mo siya dito. Ilalagay mo siya dito. Sa mga to. Paano ka gagawa? Multiply the first two symbols or multiply the first two signs. Negative times negative is equal to positive. While positive times negative is equal to negative. Positive times positive is equal to positive. Now, dito ka magbabase kung ano yung mga isi-shade mo. Etong part na to, itong part na nandito, positive yan. Yung mga nasa gitna, negative. Yung nasa kanan, positive. Look at your inequality symbol which is greater than or equal. Pag ibig sabihin ng greater than or equal, positive. Since greater than or equal ang given natin na inequality symbol, lahat ng positive sa third set na mga signs mo, yun ang shashadean mo. Since itong left side is positive, shashadean mo yan. Yan yung mga other solutions, part ng other solution. Bukod kay 1 tsaka 4. Another, yung nasa isang gilid or nasa kanan, right side, also positive. So you have to shade that one. Now, dire-diretso yan. Walang limit. Di katulad nung last time, merong limit. Yan, dire-diretso lang. Hanggang negative infinity. Ito naman, hanggang positive infinity. Since lahat ng nasa right side, positive na. Ito, bakit ko sinabing negative infinity to? May zero pa dito. Which is hindi naman positive, hindi naman negative. Ang ibig sabihin ng negative infinity, yung direction niya. Papunta siya ng negative. Pag sinabi mong positive infinity, papunta siya ng positive. Lahat ng numbers papuntang positive, yun yung solution mo. Lahat ng numbers papuntang negative, yun yung magiging solution mo. That includes negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Dito naman, you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so forth. Now, when you write the solution set, again, itong negative infinity, ang infinity laging gumagamit ng parenthesis. So, you have negative infinity hanggang kay 1. Now, since closed circle ang ginamit natin, ang gagamitin natin, bracket. Bracket na yan. Next, kasama niya, hindi lang yan, kasama niyo union with, kasama niya yung si 4 hanggang positive infinity. Parenthesis yan. Si 4, since closed circle siya, ang gagamitin nyo, bracket. Nakuha? Kapag open circle, saka ka gagamit ng parenthesis. Pag closed circle naman, saka ka gagamit ng bracket. That's all for your quadratic inequality. If you have questions naman, you can always ask me on my Discord. Utang na loob, tanungin nyo ako sa Discord kasi sa Discord ako sumasagot. Mangilan-ngilan lang yung taong nagdi-Discord na nagtatanong. Sa Messenger kasi sa sobrang daming nagchat-chat, hindi ko na makita minsan. At least sa Discord, kakunti lang kayo. Kayo lang yun nandun. So please ask me and Sir Ben if you have any questions regarding our topic, especially quadratic inequalities. And ang susunod na vid is quadratic function. Magantay lang kayo ng mga ilang araw. 2 days siguro ganun. So yun lang. Thank you and have a good day.